So today's video is going to be a little bit different than what you're normally seeing from me. I'm going to react to the Boba Fett series on Disney Plus. I also have a special guest with me today, as you see. So welcome back to the channel today, everyone. So little known fact about me is I'm actually a big Star Wars fan. So I wanted to make just a little bit different video than my normal content today, and there are possible spoilers ahead. So I'm going to say I was disappointed in this show until about episode 5, which was essentially a Mandalorian episode. I mean, I even joked on Twitter and said, I got to say, this week's episode of The Mandalorian was pretty good because the whole episode was the Mandalorian, and the rest of the season kind of finished out with a lot of content that's tied into the Mandalorian TV show. So, I mean, episodes 1 through 4 were all very slow and pretty uneventful. It seemed like they were doing a lot of character building and what was more setting the stage for like a season 2. And by the end, you realize that they were probably setting the stage more for the next season of The Mandalorian. I mean, episode 2 was a flashback episode that was incredibly boring. It didn't have much to do with the plot of the story until you find out that at the end that all the Tusken Raiders were killed, which Boba Fett has a tie to because of what happened in episode 2. Episode 6 gave us probably the most nostalgia of the entire series, where you see Luke building his Jedi school, the one where Kylo Ren ends up burning it to the ground when he joins the dark side. We also learned that Grogu was set to be his first student until he chose to be with the Mandalorian in the finale. We also learned that Grogu was saved during the infamous Order 66, which kind of gives you an idea of how old he really is. Like, his kind lives to be very old. So, and they actually say what, and Luke says in the show, what turns out, what feels like just mere a small passage of time is a full lifetime for other people. And so he has to get used to people coming in and out of his life. But probably one of my favorite parts of the whole season was seeing my favorite Star Wars character, Ahsoka Tano. And it gave me chills when she referenced to Luke, so much like your father, which is very significant because if you know from the Clone Wars series, Ahsoka was Anakin Skywalker's Padawan. So she knows Luke's father probably better than anybody else. It was just a really great connection. Like I said, it gave me chills seeing that, and it was a good scene for this show. Speaking of Clone Wars characters, at the end of episode 6 and then throughout episode 7, we see famed bounty hunter Cad Bane as the bad guy for Boba Fett to fight, as well as the Pike Syndicate was very well established in the Clone Wars. That's probably the most I've seen them in any, Star Wars lore, was their intricate play, even in the last season of the Clone Wars series, where we know that Ahsoka and her 2 friends were going to deliver some spice, and it ended up leading into the fight with Darth Maul and ending the Clone Wars series, which is leading up to Order 66. So everything's kind of tying together. It's interesting to see all these people who were in those series back then, and even tying in Grogu to everything that's happened throughout Star Wars history. So episode 7 finally explains a lot of the stuff that happened early on in the series, a lot of that character building and story building that they were doing early on, and it culminates with the battle for Tatooine, where Grogu actually showed how strong the Force has gotten in him multiple times in that battle. Now, the main question I don't really feel was answered was, why does Boba Fett want to be a crime lord? Now, Cad Bane asked him, what are you doing here? I just don't think, because these are my people, was really an answer to that question. Why does he want to take over for the Hutts on Tatooine? It it doesn't make sense to me. So all in all, the series did a lot for me. I am interested to see if all the story building that they were doing will end up making season 2 a winner. Um, but really, it makes me super excited about the next season of The Mandalorian. As like I said, the last 3 episodes were kind of Mandalorian heavy, so they could have even just been placed into the Mandalorian series. And I absolutely can't wait for the Ahsoka show to come out. Obviously, like I said, she is my favorite character in all of Star Wars, so it's always nice to see her on the screen. I'm not really sure where her story will take place on the Star Wars timeline. Um, will they just make her book into a movie? Because the book was really good. I don't think so. I think they might build off of that a little bit going into the Rebels TV series. Um, but it just remains to be seen. It will be real. It'll be really interesting where they put that show and how they make it. But I just want to see more Ahsoka on the screen. So that's just me. I've also seen some Star Wars fans saying that really what Disney needs to do is take Star Wars and create a new movie universe that takes place, 30 years after the last movie, which this could be what they're setting up to do with Grogu in the series because his kind has such a long lifespan. He's got a long time before he's full grown. It could be a few years, and they can make him the center of the next movie series. I think that would be a decent strategy for them. Maybe he starts another Jedi school. Maybe he starts to build the Jedi Order back up, but without some of the restrictions to it, things like attachments and stuff like that. Because obviously, if he's choosing the Mandalorian over training with Luke, uh, he's going to have attachments. Now we'll see how. Again, I think this is going to play a little bit more. I think that they will. I think Luke will pop up a lot more in the next Mandalorian series. But I think it could be strategic if they move it into a completely different timeline, like 30 years down the road, where Grogu is the main character as an adult. That seems pretty plausible to me. And then using some of these filler shows to build his character up and show how he became the master that he is in those movies. I don't know. This is just me talking. It would be interesting to see. Um, so, yeah. But anyways, that Star Wars goes with it. I think there's a lot of options. I'm obviously not one of these Star Wars fans who absolutely hates everything that Disney does. I got into the Star Wars game pretty late, and have pretty enjoyed most things Star Wars. So for me to be disappointed in the Boba Fett series, it kind of says a lot. But we will see what happens during the next season of Boba Fett. We'll see what happens during the next season of The Mandalorian, how that sets everything up. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you guys like some of these videos that are just a little bit more off-brand about, entertainment instead of culture so much? Do you want more of these videos? As well, make sure you click that like and subscribe button below. Follow me across all social media platforms, and I will see you guys next time.